And we're recording. Well, this is cool. This should actually be a very good demonstration here. So we are going to take that and get started. Hey everyone, I'm going to get started on a new painting here today. I've got it drawn out. It's my friend Tom's campsite where he lives, somewhere down in the hills of Tennessee somewhere. But we're going to start today by doing the sky, and here's the colors we're going to be using. White, sky blue, ocean green, some ultramarine blue. I'm trying this Master's Touch ultra thick stuff. It seems to be well, thicker and more opaque, so I think that should work really well for us. So this is what I've got for the palette right now. As you can see, we've got the white, seafoam, sky, and ultramarine going, and I'm going to use, and I just bought a new filbert brush, so this is kind of a experiment, not really an experiment for me, but we'll see if we can get that in there. It's a number 18 filbert Master's Touch brush I got from Hobby Lobby. So nothing too incredibly special about that, but as I'm going through here, I can kind of give you an idea. So I've got over in this area here, right in here, this is my painting I'm going from. We're going to add all this blue that's going on up here into the sky on this one. So let me zoom back out just a hair, just a little bit, so you can get the full. You gotta get it in full screen. I'm using a brand new camera here today too, and a new mic setup. So this is a wireless mic setup. I can walk anywhere for it. It's the, if you guys are wondering, it's the Rode Wireless Go 2. Really nice setup. Plug it in, and really don't have to do much of anything. Anyway, hopefully this sounds good. But so let's get going. What I usually like to do is get a little bit of water on the what do you call it, on the canvas. So we're going to start by doing that with this filbert brush, and I'm not like soaking it. I'm just getting a little water on there. And this has already been gessoed. I've gessoed it quite a bit. And you'll see some of these pencil lines will be moving through and get a little muddy, but that's all right. So we're going to put a lot of paint on here. So I'm not soaking it. I'm just trying to prep the surface a little bit before we get started. Then I'm going to start with white and just blast in a bunch of white in there. And I'll use that to blend with later. Some people put a base layer in of another color. I've done that too. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I go back and forth whether I like doing it that way or not. But the idea here, all these trees and the drawings of everything in there is not that important at this time. I'm actually just pretty much ignoring them. I'll go around them and we'll lay them in again later. I laid those in earlier just to get the idea of the layout of the painting. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of this seafoam green on the bottom, but it's going to be mostly white, but I like the sky to have a little bit of the seafoam green fading into blue and then fades into a really rich dark or sky blue color. So that's what I'm going to do here. So you'll see this just starting to get a little bit of sky color in there. I'm mixing it down a little bit with water, but I don't want it too thin. We'll see, this is just right at the horizon line. I want it to have that blue-green, or not blue-green, but seafoam green coloring. right at the base of it. Because all these trees, you're going to see right through these trees. So most of what I'm painting right here is going to get covered up. So as you see, as these trees go up and down and branches come around and all that goes in there, a lot of it's going to disappear. I'm going to mix up a little bit more here as we go along. And I'm just mixing it like this with the palette knife. So I'm just taking the white. Instead of mixing it with the brush, I found that mixing it with the palette knife makes for a much cleaner, smoother blends. So hopefully you can see that there. Just putting up a new overhead light over here so these videos can be easier to watch. So, and I've got, you don't see it's out of camera, but over there I've got some water and a couple of little jars of water that I'm using. And this, let me get this nice blue going in here. So these filberts are nice because they have a tapered end, so they blend out color very, very nicely. And I've had, in my career as an artist, extensive experience in painting, but not so much with acrylics. So acrylics I started about a year ago. I really enjoy them. There are some things I don't like because they dry too fast, and you can get a medium that'll keep it from drying so fast. And that's probably in the cards for me in the next kind of some of the stuff I'm playing with this medium. So now I'm going to mix up a little bit of blue. I'll show you what I'm doing here so you can see it if I get it in there. So I'll mix some blue in here, this sky blue color, a bunch more white. I'll put some of the green in there too, so it's get a little bit of a warm color to it. It starts to form that really nice sky blue hue that makes me feel happy. So when I started doing this, a lot of my friends and stuff started talking to me like, "Oh, you're like Bob Ross," and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've never watched a Bob Ross episode. I know who he is, but I've never watched any of his stuff. So it's kind of funny that people say that, or it's, there we go. That's a nice color. Yes, yes. Blended in there. But anyway, you know, the guy got a lot of people painting though. That's pretty cool. So we're gonna get through here and blend these colors together. I'm a little bit thick yet. That's okay. I'm trying to get it covered. Whoops. A little too much water on that one, but we're getting some blending going. If you get too much water, it doesn't want to bind with the canvas right. And we don't want to have that problem. So what we're going to do, I try to paint the sides too where I can. Come on now. I'm going to fill in all those little cracks that I didn't get with the gesso. I could have probably I've got like 1.5 coats of gesso on this. I probably could have done another coat of gesso, but that's all right. This will work just fine. Paint the sides and the top too. I said we're gonna go darker towards the top. The idea here is just to get a lot of paint on there. We can go back over it over and over and over again if we need to. But it soaks it in the first bit there. First layer soaks in, which is why a lot of people, again, they'll start with a something that have a base color on it. They'll kind of prepare the board like that, the canvas. And since sometimes I do it, I decided not to on this one, because I wanted to try this new brush, which is working beautifully, actually, here, for what I'm trying to do. Is blend these colors together. I want a nice bright blue in the background as I'm going along. I've got to mix some more up. Didn't mix enough. There we go. Starting to look like a painting now. Let's get some blue. I'm going to go more of the straight blue, and I'm actually going to mix in some darker. We're going to get some darker hues up on the top side. Almost give it a little bit of a violet cast to it by adding the ultramarine, which is this darker blue. Well, let's see if you can see it there. A little darker blue there. And that makes for the roof of the deal look pretty cool. A little more blue. It's going a little bit too purple there. You don't want it to be purple, but I want it to have that little bit of a cast of. There we go. This should be a nice dark. Yes. Just what I wanted. So I'm using, this might be the last time you see this easel on something this big. This painting is 16 by 20 on canvas. Again, that's I buy the pre-primered canvases at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any of those places. I find they work just fine. And then I prep them the way I want them to be prepped, so that they're perfect for this kind of thing. Tilt that forward, make sure we get all the top nice and covered. I go back and forth whether to paint the sides of the things, but I don't like looking at the sides of canvas. It's just blank white, so I end up painting them. Some people don't. We'll just call those people wrong. Unless you're going to frame it. I suppose it's all right then. So now we're going to add a little bit of blue. We're going to bring this down. Some of this blending right on the canvas here as we're going along. The idea here is just to have a nice fluid kind of blend of this blue sky. Come on now. But I want it to have just a little bit of texture too. I don't want it to just be perfectly blue, because the sky has atmosphere in it, so there's texture. But I want it to look like a blue sky. I don't want it to look like a cloudy sky. So we're going to go pretty rich on the blue here. Blend it all in nice. Yeah, I'm digging this brush. It's working really well for me. Now we're going to go way more white. Because we got to get this. You want that sky to look like it is fading up. There we go. And so I'm going to put some bright whites in there like that. And go through with a little bit of, just I'm thinning it with a little bit of water to get some blends. See how that works there? It's just lightening up along the bottom. I like it. So the idea is that we're blending from light to on the bottom of the painting down here to dark up top. But I want a nice smooth blend. You gotta get all the paint in between all the little marks. The texture of the canvas. I'll go right over the trailer there a little bit too, because I want that blue to shine through. Makes a little bit of a mess, but it's all right. It's one thing I do as well as make a mess. Ask my wife. Oh. So yeah, you can see this is the easel I'm using is inadequate. I'm doing like this and see how the easel moves? That's not good. I've got a new easel. It's a bigger one I haven't used yet. I just put it together. It's a freestanding one. It'll be much better for things like this as I move into doing in the next few months some really larger scale paintings, which I'm quite looking forward to. Do some bigger stuff. I've been wanting to do a Duesenberg painting for a long time, a Duesenberg car. I think I've got a 24 by 36 canvas in the other room that I'm looking forward to using for that very reason, that very purpose. Now the paint is loaded up in the brush a little bit, so I just took some out. I've got a paper towel down below. And I'm using that to adjust how much paint's on the brush. But you can see we're starting to get a kind of a nice blend of sky here. That's what we're going for. It's that color and that little bit of texture. I'm just putting that little bit of texture in there. So we'll come up here and put some clouds that are wispy that kind of come back down into. You can kind of see some chemtrails. But some of those wispy, faraway clouds, they'll go back in perspective. So I will be starting here pretty soon a series of drawing and painting classes. Some of them will be free, and some of them will be behind a paywall, where I'm going to do some cool artwork for, or not cool artwork, well, it will be cool artwork, but I will do some instructional videos on how to do this stuff and why I'm doing this and why am I picking these colors to go here and not a different color. We'll go into some color theory a little bit. We'll go into drawing, but it's going to be mostly how to draw and how to get good perspective. I think that looks pretty good right there. So as far as that goes, I would say that is about done. Let me see if I can't get a better shot of it here for you. We'll pull the camera out, my new camera, out of the Here we go. I'll get a straight on shot. So that's the look, the color, kind of some of the coloring, but that on the stock part, it's really pretty much a solid color. There's a blend a little bit down here, but I wanted to add some more texture and stuff. But you can see the colors, I didn't go quite as dark in the top, but just enough. And I gave it a little bit of texture, so when you look at it, when you put trees over that, it'll really have a great depth to it and stuff. So with that being said, that is the end of part 1. I don't know how many parts there will be, but this is just how I do the sky. So I figured you guys might like to see it. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, please share it. Like my page. This is YouTube thing's kind of new to me, and well, it's actually not kind of new. I've been doing it for 2 years. I've just haven't been any good at it because I'm not consistent enough. So anyway, I'll be more consistent if more people watch. And if more people watch, I'll be more consistent. So if you like it, subscribe, share it. And again, thank you very much. And I will talk to you soon.